Hey, how you guys doing? It's Lon from the ECOM zone and I'm back with another video. I really didn't want to make this video, especially when I just made a video yesterday about the Trump situation. And then here we go again. This is getting ridiculous now. So Trump just amended the tariffs and the duties and everything. So here's another update. So what he's basically done is increase the tariffs from 34% to 84%. So you just scroll down here, section 2, tariff increase, skip all that. He basically increased 34% to 84 plus the previous 20% in February and March, totaling 104%. Now, there's a lot of confusion going around whether this 104% is added on top of the duties or if it's not. And personally, I think it doesn't affect packages under $800. Otherwise, we're doomed. That would be like a 200% increase. So the 104% I believe doesn't affect any packages under $800. And if it does, we're doomed. So there's not much clarifications, but that's that with the tariff increase. So if you're drop shipping or selling anything from China to the US with a value under $800, you do not need to worry about this tariff increase. It does not affect us, I think. So don't take my word for that because there's not much clarification here. But that's what we think. Now, the minimis tariff increase, section 3, he basically gone and increased the 30% to 90%, guys. It's finished. That is the end of dropshipping to the US from China, in my honest opinion. We just have to pray now that the backlogs are going to be so big in the customs border protection in the US that he'll revert this decision, because this is insane. From 30% to 90%, and then also the increase per postal item from $25 to $75 on May 2nd. That is insane. So we still have until May 2nd to sell goods to the US from China, but after that, I probably wouldn't sell to the US until they resolve this battle between China and the US. And then also on June 1st, they're going to increase it to $150. So previously it was $25 to $50. Now it's $75 to $150 on any packages under $800 entering the US from China. So guys, if they do not revert the decision to remove the de minimis exemption, it is doomed. It is impossible to sell goods at a 90% increase or a $75 duty. And we also don't know if the customers are going to pay this or if we're going to pay this. Some say the shipping carrier will pay this, etc., but who knows? So yeah, Trump just keeps trumping. What we're going to discuss, we already discussed this, so we'll just skip this. I also should mention that today, April 9th, China also increased their tariffs by 84% instead of the 34%, which totals 84%. So they basically copied Trump. It's just that they didn't increase the 20% tariffs from February and March. So you can read up all about that on that fact sheet. So what does this actually mean for dropshippers? Well, product costs on AliExpress will increase by around 90% to the US. Now, I'm not too sure if we're going to pay this or the customers. So we still don't know what's going on. And I'm still waiting for my suppliers to give me clarification on what's going on. And the biggest problem is that there will also be delays at the US Customs Border Protection because there's just too many parcels coming from China into the US that they're going to have to check now. 4 million a day. I just don't see it happening. It's going to cause another backlog in the customs network, the shipping network, etc. So hopefully they push back on this and they added the minimus exemption back in again. Which happened before in either February or March. I forgot which one. But hopefully that's what we're praying for as dropshippers. We want them to revert the order and bring back the de minimis exemption. However, if they don't, it makes it almost impossible to sell to the US from China. Like, I'm being very serious here. It is going to be very difficult. And even for me, I'm thinking about focusing heavily on other markets. I'm still waiting news from my AliExpress suppliers, and once I have news, then I'll update you guys again. And if you are new to dropshipping, I would avoid the US market as a whole. It's just too much headache. There's too much back and forth between US and China, and the tariff situation and stuff like that. It's just too much headache. And in the next slide, I'll talk to you guys about how you can continue dropshipping. So don't worry. If you're already dropshipping like myself to the US from China, then I would recommend reducing Facebook ads drastically to the US unless you find a way to source your products in the US or you ship to the US from another country like Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, India, etc. Now you could also start a new store and find a US supplier on AliExpress because there are some suppliers like that. But this is completely up to you on how you want to pivot and adapt to this challenge. So how do you actually continue dropshipping with all these challenges? The benefit of dropshipping is that it allows you to sell worldwide from China and you don't have to just depend on the US. This is not the end of dropshipping, guys. Like, dropshipping is just a fulfillment model and it will always be here. You just need to find yourself a new market and adapt to the challenges. You want to focus on other markets like Australia, Canada, UK, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Netherlands, New Zealand, etc. There are so many other countries out there, and I've actually looked at my conversion rate and ROAS for these other countries, and they are actually a lot higher than the US. So for me, UK, Germany, France, and Spain are very, very profitable. Australia and Canada, they're actually not so profitable for me. So it actually depends on your niche and your market and where your demographics lives. So you're gonna have to do your own research and figure out where your ideal audience lives. Like, is it in Germany? Is it in the UK? Is it in Australia? And also it depends on your products. Let's just say you're selling winter clothes, but you're advertising to a hot country. That doesn't make sense, right? So it really depends on what products you're advertising. And you also want to make sure that your supplies ship to these countries. Don't just advertise to these countries and set shipping rates and not check if your supplies ship to these countries. You can't just assume that. And in my previous video, which I uploaded yesterday, I go through this right at the end of the video, so you just skip to the end. Once you have confirmed this, make sure to have shipping settings set up for these countries, because if you don't, they can't check out. And that means it will lower your conversion rates, you're missing out on sales, and you're losing out on profit. And if you want to advertise to these certain countries, create a new CBO Facebook ad campaign with your winning ads for the new countries excluding the US. So for me, I literally just duplicated my winning ad sets into a new CBO campaign at $50 a day, and I targeted Europe, UK, Canada, Australia, excluding the US. And that campaign is doing well. So definitely give that a try. And I'll be making a new video on my Facebook ad structure right now because a lot of people are struggling. But recently my ROAS is about 3.5, which is really good. And I'm just glad my ROAS has recovered because a lot of people have been struggling with Facebook ads. Performance has been volatile. A lot of people just aren't profitable. They're losing a lot of money. Ads that used to be crushing it just aren't crushing it anymore. And there's just so much happening. So I'll be making a new video on my Facebook ad campaigns and how I'm structuring that. So stay tuned for that. And that, guys, is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this update and found it valuable. If you did, smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts on the current situation and subscribe to my channel for more content. Peace.